So let's actually start thinking about what is success out here. That was a really good question. And when you start any marketing campaign, especially from the agency side, but even from a client side, it's very important to decide what actually constitutes success for you. Now, those of you who've done social media marketing internships, did you ever have clients come to you and say, we want to do social media? And you go, why? Or what do you want to do? You go, oh, because we don't have Facebook and we want to be on Facebook. And why do you want to be on Facebook? Oh, because that's where everybody's going nowadays. Really, and what are you going to say to people on Facebook? I don't know, but everybody's out there, so we really need to be there. Sound familiar to any of you? Have you had clients who just do Facebook and do Twitter, do Instagram, yeah, with absolutely no idea of what they actually want from it? That happens a lot with social media, I can tell you today. It doesn't happen as much with search. It used to happen with search marketing 10 years ago. You'd have clients going, oh, I want to be on Google. What do you want to do on Google? I don't know, I just want to be on Google, right? Nowadays you have that, I want to be on Instagram. I want to be on Snapchat. I'm PwC, but I want to be on Snapchat. Really, you do not want to be on Snapchat if you're PwC. But the understanding and actually putting it down on paper, what is success, is very important at the start of any marketing campaign, whether it's online, whether it's on social media or offline. If you don't know what you are aiming for, chances are you're not going to reach it. Yeah, that's just marketing 101. I'm sure all of you heard it before. What do you think are good KPIs, key performance indicators, good metrics for us to target for this particular incidence? Impressions? Yep, that's a good one. What about TV viewers? Who thinks TV viewers are a good metric to be focusing on?
How long do they have to watch it to be classed as a viewer?
That's a good question. Let me remind you what the brief said. Their main objective is to get viewers of UEFA 2020. So is TV viewers a good metric to be shooting towards?
TV may not be around then. Less people will be watching it. It's all streamed.
Fair enough. Who thinks it should be?
So there is it's a complication because in India people do watch a lot of TV because with the market is TV.
Yep.
But we are focusing on online because that's what the brief is. So
that's a very good point. You see, TV viewers may be the end objective, but as a marketing KPI, it doesn't really work for this 12 months period because all of the work is being done online. So TV viewers, are they really what you are aiming for? Yes, they are the end objective, but if you see them as a KPI, you're actually killing your campaign right at the start. Because you've said online is it, offline is not it, TV is not it.
Yep. As for comments, you could set like an algorithm that sees when UEFA 2020 is written, and aiming in the end for online views. That's pretty accurate measurement of how many people are aware and are talking of the subject.
Absolutely. So online views is one that's in there. Let's get to that in a minute. We've said no for TV viewers. Everyone agreed? 1 second. What about purchases? People buying UEFA gear. Good, bad?
Maybe not gear, but maybe the signing up to have a channel.
Possibly. Anyone else? Purchases, yes, no?
like it's a long-term goal.
It is a long-term goal, isn't it? It's a very long-term goal. And again, if you're starting to measure the success of your campaign based on a goal which you know is not going to have an immediate effect, you're kind of, if you say, I'm sending you reports every month, those reports are going to be zero, which tells nobody anything, right? They are definitely goals for UEFA and for us as the agency, but they're not realistic goals to start looking at just now. They're not something that you're going to get immediately, so definitely not.
Well, I think that's why impressions is like a pretty
Yeah.
easy one because it just people could glance by it. They don't have to like be really looking at, but like it
Yeah.
gives the client a bigger number to kind of get the broader brand awareness.
Exactly. Impressions are a great way to just measure brand awareness. Yep. Everyone here knows what an impression is? If you need clarification, speak up. Yeah. I do at times assume everybody knows my lingo, and I'm bad at that. So stop me and say, what exactly do you call an impression? An impression is when somebody views your ad. Ideally, an impression should be when somebody views it a certain amount of time. So actually sees it, not blanks it out and goes, oh yeah, there's always ads, I'm not looking. It still counts as an impression today, but nowadays the marketing world has evolved and people start looking only at viewable impressions. Impressions that can actually be seen and measured and absorbed, which help to build a brand. Yep. Ticket sales, not so much as we said. Impressions, yeah, good one. Because it measures the very basic of brand awareness. Without impressions, you can't have anything else. What about clicks? Clicks to the website. Good one, obviously. Yep.
The second step from impression.
Yeah, so it's one step up from impression. It's even better. It's in red. Or something like red. Yeah. Video views. This is online content. So video views, one of you said it already, didn't you? That's a good one to be measuring. Click-through rate. I'm giving you the answer. It's a very good one. Who can tell me why is click-through rate so important? It's the most important. If you look, it's the darkest red.
It's showing how many people view something, then click on it, and like what's the ratio in regards to that, and then you can kind of understand how many more people you need to go to in order to get result.
Yes, it helps you as an agency to actually start forecasting what sort of results you will get. So from that respect, click-through rate is very important. But there's an even bigger reason why click-through rate is the most important metric out here. Any takers? All the networks, Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snap, everything, they use click-through rate as their measure of interest, of success of content. So Facebook looks at click-through rate and says, this piece of content was shown to X number of people and they click to engage with it in some way, shape or form. Ergo, this piece of content is interesting. If it has a low click-through rate, Facebook's going to show it less because Facebook starts to realize that, yeah, nobody really cares about this. If it has a high click-through rate, Facebook's going to show more and more of it. So that metric single-handedly can dictate the success or failure of your campaign on social media, on search, even on display. If you have a low click-through rate, you are going to get shown less, you're going to get fewer people interacting, and you're eventually going to end up paying more money and getting less results. It is very important for us as an agency and marketers in general. Click-through rates, engagement rates are absolutely the most crucial metric in an online world.
Is click-through rate the same as pay-per-click?
No. The click-through rate is the percentage of people who saw a piece of content, whether it's an ad or an organic result or a post or whatever, what percentage of those people actually took some action. So it's the percentage of clicks, it's the number of clicks divided by the number of impressions in a world where clicks are measured. In a world where engagement is measured, it's the number of likes or comments or shares or clicks to expand, clicks to play, divided by number of impressions. Yep.
What would a good CTR percentage be?
Depends on the network. It is a very good question, but CTRs really vary widely, right? On a network like Facebook, a good click-through rate may be a few percent. So 2, 3, 4%. Something that's really hot news, so say Theresa May got smacked.
Theresa May resigns.
Yeah, Theresa May resigns.
She's gone.
You're nicer. That might get a higher click-through rate. That's well and good. That shows it's a hot topic, right? Something that's not really interesting will probably get 0.2, 0.3% click-through rate. which means 3 people in 1,000 are actually clicking on it. Now, when you look at the world, that might sound like really piggly, small little numbers, but you're talking of billions of people. On Facebook, you're talking of 1.2, 1.5, whatever billion. On Google, you're talking a few billion people. On YouTube, you're looking at billions. Suddenly, those numbers make a massive, massive difference. A 0.1% change in click-through rate on a campaign of this scale. India is a country of 1-point-something billion people. At that scale, a 0.1% difference in click-through rate means a few million extra people. So it's a huge number, even though it's very small like that when you think about it. And if you got a 10% click-through rate, we'd actually start having all sorts of different problems, servers crashing, overload that nobody expected. So yeah, the world of click-throughs is really interesting. We talked about engagement rates. That's the social media equivalent of click-through rates. Content likes. That's an obvious one now that I've explained to you guys why click-through rates are important. Comments. Yep. What about followers? What do you think about followers? How important is that as a metric we should be following?
Maybe it depends on the brand. Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I believe it's more long term. Like click-through rate shows interest, follower shows deeper interest.
Mm-hmm.
So a person could be attending even not being a follower to such a
Yep.
big event.
True.
I was more thinking like followers are important, but doesn't ensure brand engagement.
True.
So
I've kind of given it away with my big true. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say that, like, the large amount of followers, the larger amount you have, the more trust is perceived with the brand.
Potentially.
So you
Potentially.
It might also give you false results though, because a lot of followers on big accounts can be bots or not real
True.
accounts. So you might think you have a lot of engagement because you have a lot of followers, but
Mhm.
they might not be engaging with your content.
Yeah. That's you guys are you're hitting the nail on the head, very much so. Followers do not mean engagement.
Engagement means engagement, right?
Yeah, it's only engagement that portends engagement. You could have 20 million followers, all of whom are completely disengaged and do not care about your brand. And they know of your brand, and so they follow you because they want to hear what you have. But everything you put out, nobody's engaging with it. Your engagement will fall off. And just because you've got 20 million followers does not mean all those 20 million people will ever see your content and use it. So followers are a nice vanity metric. They are not really a useful metric from a marketing perspective. They do not give you real world results. 5 years ago, they did. 5 years ago, if you had 10 million followers on Facebook, you were guaranteed loads of traffic. But Facebook itself has changed its algorithms. Instagram's changed its algorithms. LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, everybody's changed their algorithms. Followers do not just include a proportional amount of traffic. There's so many pages that people follow. People need to show they're actually interested, engaged in order to get that. So great. I mean, I think we've had a lovely discussion on what success is. What are the KPIs out here? We want to see good quality clicks. We want to see good quality engagement. We want to see people clicking to view the videos. We want to see people clicking to actually visit the UEFA site, consume more content. All of those metrics are important. That's what's going to be measured as success. And maybe in an ideal world, the client will also be able to come back to us and say, we actually want 10 million video views. And we want to have X amount of clicks from India in this span of time. But if we don't, let's see how far we can get towards it. And it's important to have that right at the start. So we measured now, we've said, okay, we know what we want to measure. We know what we want to track. What next?